Smoked Chipotle burgers. A lot of times when you're making burgers, they're hot and fast. They go on over some hot coals and they're done in like 5 minutes. We took our time with this. 40 minutes of just low and slow with some good smoke on this burger. I can't wait to show you guys this recipe because it's one of my favorite burger recipes. I got a lot of burger recipes, but this is my favorite one. Grilling season is upon us. More specifically, burger season is upon us. While most people do their burgers hot and fast, we're gonna channel our inner usher and do it nice and slow. With these Chipotle burgers with some homemade guacamole. Everybody makes guacamole their own way, but I'm gonna show you how I do it today. We're gonna throw a lot of ingredients into the meat mixture, and then we're gonna smoke it nice and slow at 275 until it gets to our desired temperature, versus the typical way of doing burgers, which is like just throwing it on a grill and just looking at it and be like, yeah, that's done. We're gonna start with our burger meat. I've just got 2 pounds of some 80/20 beef. And I just wanna tell you right now, fat is flavor in this case, so make sure you're not going super lean. Otherwise, you risk the chance of your burgers drying out. To this, I'm gonna use my measuring palm and add some McCormick's Montreal steak seasoning. Is really, really good for this thing, and you can get this definitely at your local grocer. So I would say 2 tablespoons, but what I'm really just gonna do is just pour it in my palm until I feel like that's enough. That's like enough. But you know what? A little bit more.
Guess it wasn't enough, John.
You're right. Well, my hands aren't big enough. That's really what the problem is. To this, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and I'm gonna kind of just eyeball it. Our special ingredients, Chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. Some of you may have never seen this or experienced this before, so I'm gonna show you how to kind of go about doing it. We're gonna take out 2 of these peppers. Actually, I'm gonna take out 3 because I like a little bit more heat. If I can get it, there we go. So that's 1. Oh, these are big. So that's 1.
You sure don't want this to do 2?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do 2 today. These are big, bigger than normal. All we're gonna do is just really just quickly dice it up. We're gonna get it here into our meat, but we're not just gonna do the Chipotle peppers themselves. We wanna get a little bit of this adobo sauce. So those are the peppers, and in here, all that's adobo sauce. We want just a little bit of it. And by a little bit, I mean like 2 tablespoons worth. So we're just gonna pour that in. We've got that, and then our last ingredient we're going to do, and this is just gonna add some flavor and some moisture as well. We're gonna take a grater. We're gonna take half an onion, and then we're just going to grate it. This is gonna add, again, flavor and moisture. So we're gonna throw that in there, as I have grated onion now on my shirt. So I'm gonna smell great for the rest of the day. Now that we have all that there, we mix. We don't wanna mix too much, because the more you mix it, it just does a lot of crazy science things I don't need to explain, but just do a light mix. Just get it incorporated, and then we're gonna start forming our patties. Awesome sounds coming out of this. That's good to me. Let's start getting ready to measure this out. We're going big burgers today because we're smoking these. If we were just doing it over regular charcoal, then I would make these burgers like 1/4 pounders, but because we're smoking them and they're gonna take a little while, we're gonna make some big boys. So we're going 1/2 pounds today. So I've got my food scale here, 8 ounces each, or you could just use your hand and just kind of divide it into 4. But I'm gonna be a little bit more precise today. Boom, ooh, I got that one. I nailed that one. All right, we've got our 1/2 pound Chipotle burger meat mixtures, and all we're doing is just forming them into some patties. And these are gonna shrink down in size. So what I like to do is try to aim for the size of the bun and go a little bit bigger. So that's a pretty good size right there. Gonna place it here. I've got 1 more to make, but what we're gonna do after this is we're gonna put these in our freezer for about 30 minutes. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want them to firm up, because we're cooking these low and slow. And the last thing I want is for them to stick onto the grill grates. Now, I could put olive oil on it, but that's adding another flavor in it that I don't want to do right now. I'm hungry as hell. Also, my poor choice is tequila, because in the theme of delicious Chipotle and also this guacamole, just some tequila, some silver tequila, and some lime juice, keeping it simple, but it's got me feeling really, really good. That's why I'm hungry. The burgers are in the freezer. Again, we're gonna give them 30 minutes, but in the meantime, we are going to make our guacamole. For some of you, you've never made guacamole. It seems like a very intimidating process, but it's really, really easy once you know how to do it. So we're gonna start with our avocados. I've got 2 jumbo avocados here. If you're using regular size avocados, get 3, but I'm using 2 jumbo ones. And it's really simple to cut them open. You want to come in here, Lou. So what I do is I just go right down the center. I'll rotate it while my knife is still in there, and you won't be able to go all the way through because there's a pit, as you'll find out in a second. So I go all the way around, I will turn it, and that's how we open it up. Now, to get this pit out, what I do is I take my knife, I just do lightly there, I'll turn it, pit comes right out. And I do that. To get this out, you can scoop it with a spoon, but these aren't the ripest avocados, so I want to make life easier for me. So I'm just going to go through here and just slice. Now be very careful when you're doing this. I'm doing this drunk, which is probably not the best idea, but I'm cutting it very, very thin. Now this knife is sharp, so it can go through that skin very easily, and on the other side of that skin is my hand. So I'm kind of creating a cup with my hand. Pop that out right there, and again, I could now take a spoon, but I'm not, because I don't feel like doing more dishes. And then I'm going to show you guys, because some of you have expressed that you have a hard time dicing onions, which I did too, but I'm gonna show you how I do it, and hopefully you can do it, but also improve upon it. This isn't just for guacamole. This is how I cut onions for everything. So if you ever need to know how to do diced onions in like a more efficient way, I'm gonna show you. Also, you don't have to put onions in your guacamole. You can put whatever you want in your guacamole. It's your guacamole, but I like to put a good red onion in there. So what I'm gonna do is take my knife, I'm gonna cut it in half. What I'm gonna do, so you see the root end down here? What I'm gonna do is take my knife on this other end, just cut straight down that. Reason why will be clearer later. And I don't think I'm gonna need all this onion. I think I'm only gonna need half of it. So we're just gonna work with half right now, and we'll kind of determine, do we need more later? So we'll move that off to the side. So what I like to do is, after I've got that front portion cut off, I got my finger here just for control. I'll take the tip and I'll just kind of go in. I'm not going all the way to this end because I want it to kind of stay together. But I am going all the way down, and I'll just work my way through here, and then I'll just take my knife and I'll just work my way there, and boom, you've got diced onions. And you can do it the size that you want, and boom. And so I'll just discard that. This is enough onions for me. Again, if I want to, I could take my knife and just kind of go through there, but these are pretty good sizes. Also, I don't think my guac really needs that much as far as onions go. So I'm gonna kind of eyeball this. So I took half an onion. Let's take half of that onion, so I guess essentially a fourth. We're gonna kind of drop it in there. Let's go a little bit more. We're gonna start with that and see kind of how it is. In the meantime, we'll just put this off to the side in case we need more. And now we're gonna move on to our Roma tomatoes. I'm gonna start with one right now. A lot of people just dice it up, but I don't want my guacamole being watery, so I'm gonna cut it in half, and then I'm gonna cut it into fourths. All the seeds, all that stuff like that, typically I'll just take it out and just kind of just drop it into something. Do that, and then I will take my knife and I'll just go down in very, very, very thin strips. Almost cut my finger right there. See what I'm talking about? This is a dangerous show. No one's going to insure us if it ever becomes popular. Once I've got that, boom. So I'll drop that in. Again, I'm not making a lot of guacamole, so I'm kind of doing this by look and feel. I think actually just one more half of a Roma tomato is what I'm gonna do. Hope I'm saying Roma tomato right. It's one of those things I just assume that's what it's called. I got the tomato part right. Tomato.
It's Roma.
Roma.
Tomato.
And thank you to the person who corrected me when I was cutting. Either it was me or Jen were cutting, but like, yeah, the finger on the knife right here, so much more control. You'll have so many less accidents. Sometimes I forget, especially when I've been drinking, that's very important. So we got that there. Yes, definitely enough tomatoes, at least for right now. So again, we'll move this off to the side because we may or may not need it. Now for the jalapeno.
We're not gonna do gloves?
I'm gonna do gloves. So, fun story. One of the times I was making guacamole, I decided to add jalapeno, which is a great addition to it. If you don't want spicy guacamole, leave the jalapeno out, but if you do, it's a good little kick. Definitely add it in. So one of the first times I did that, I forgot about jalapeno oil getting on my fingers. And so what I did was I made that guacamole at night, took my contacts out, and then the next morning, when I went to put my contacts back in, I burned the shit out of my eyes. And I will never forget that feeling. So ever since, anytime I'm cutting a jalapeno, I am going to put on gloves because, oh, I do not want to feel that again. We've got a jalapeno, one jalapeno, and honestly, I don't think we're gonna need a lot of it. So I'm gonna cut it down the middle. I'm gonna take the seeds and all that flesh on the inside, get it out. You don't have to get every single seed out. Don't obsess over this because the seeds are more heat if you want that. But we'll get a good portion of it. Same thing we did with the tomatoes, going right down. I cut them nice and thin and then boom. So I think that's actually all we're gonna really need. Again, there's not a lot of room in this, as you can tell. We're gonna add some cilantro. I just take my knife here, I kind of come at an angle, and I just kind of shave it. So this is just one bunch of cilantro. Add as much as you want, and if you don't like cilantro, you don't have to add it in. Some people think cilantro tastes like soap, and I totally understand what you're talking about, which I guess means I like soap. And I'm just gonna go through here, chop it up. So I'm gonna take like half of what I just did and put it in here for right now, actually a little bit more because I like cilantro. I've got that there. What I wanna do now is take a lime, cut that lime in half. I'm just gonna do half of it right now. We're gonna add some hickory smoked salt. You can use this regular salt, but I wanna add some grill elements to it. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit of that on it right now, knowing I'm definitely gonna add more later, but you can always add more, you can't take it out. So that's good. And then last but not least, shout out to my friend Carly for putting me on to just adding extra seasonings to your guacamole. So I've got some Cattleman's 8-second carne asada ride. It's just gonna add some extra flavors to it. So I'm just gonna do, again, my measuring palm. Just a little bit, put that in there. And we'll see if we need more later, but I don't think we will. And now, let's get to crushing. All right, so we've mixed everything together. This is optional. Only reason I'm doing this is because I have some garlic cloves here. I literally have 2, and I just don't want them to go bad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them into my garlic press. And the cool thing about having a garlic press is I don't have to take this out of the shell. I can literally put it right in here, and then I can press it right down. It's gonna squeeze it right out of the paper. Do that. Let me do one more. Squeeze it in there. And I'm just gonna take my knife just so we can get it off there. So we've got everything incorporated in there. We'll try it one more time. Actually, we'll just do it right off of this. Oh yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Okay, guacamole's done. We're gonna cover it up with some saran wrap. We're gonna throw it in the fridge. I want all those flavors to come together. And then I think it's about time to put our burgers on the grill. All right, our grill has been preheated up to 275. We're using a Traeger right now, so we're gonna put our burgers up on the second shelf because this is gonna kind of be a non-flip type of burger. And because it's on the second shelf and the way Traegers are very efficient with air, we don't need to because the heat is wrapping around these burgers, so we don't have to really flip it that much. So I have this Swine Life Mississippi grit, which is just an all-purpose seasoning that I'm just gonna lightly coat the tops of these burgers with just for more seasoning. But if you don't have an all-purpose seasoning, salt and pepper is totally fine. So we're gonna leave these in here. How long are they gonna take? That is a good question. I'm gonna take these off when they get to medium. That's the temperature that I wanna take them off at, which is 140 on my thermometer. It could take, depending on your grill, an hour. It could take less. So don't go too far away from your burgers right now because you do want to monitor them. But I know at least for like the first 20 minutes, they're just going to be cooking. So get you a good meat thermometer and we'll come back and check on these. And then when they're done, it's going to be time to feast. Our burgers are done. I took them off at 140. Those are there. I just threw some Kobe Jack up there. A brioche bun, because I'm a fan of brioche buns. I'm gonna throw that there. Let's grab some lettuce. Let's have my dog stop barking. Again, you make your burgers the way that you want to make it. There is no right or wrong way. I'm gonna take some tomato. I like mine thinly sliced. Go ahead and throw our burger up there. So that's good there. And now, our special topping, our guacamole. Throw that on, because I like guacamole. You can put as much on as you want. But that feels good. Burger's just gonna just chill there. This is the Chipotle burger. I can't wait to take a bite. So let's put our bun top on. Let's give it a good old smash. Yep, that's good. I know I do that for every single thing I do, but that's really, really good. The right amount of spice, the guacamole being fresh as it is. You're gonna be tempted to buy store-made guacamole, but I promise you, if you make it fresh, the most bestest topping for this burger. So I highly recommend that. That's good. This is one of many burgers that I'm gonna make, but I highly recommend a smoked burger. Change it up, low and slow. Caress your burger, treat it well, and it'll treat your belly well. That's Poor Choices Kitchen. I'm drunk, and now I need to sober up. And I know the way to do it, eating this.